We're recording.
Yes,
What a face.
we made it. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for speaking with me, Mrs. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. I am Angel Lightoverdarkness33.
Hello, hello,
Hello,
and
hello.
thank you. Um, Thank you for joining me. I am Lauren, uh, Journalism and Jewels, and we are going to speak about angel numbers and angel numbers and numbers and angels. So
Yes.
let's jump right into it.
Okay.
So what I just want to know, I mean, numbers are never ending, and it's so many different things, and um each of us have, our angels and um different messages. But what do angel numbers mean for you or to you?
It means to me a deeper spiritual journey.
Okay. A deeper spiritual journey, like in the sense of,
Like becoming aware.
ah, like self-awareness.
Sort of, but it's spiritual.
Okay.
It's spiritual.
Spiritual.
So the moment you are aware that spirit truly does exist and that you're not just a body, then that's when you begin to get downloads. And that's when you begin to get signs and different things to let you know, yeah, we're here. We exist.
Mm-hmm. The unseen.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So what would when would you say you started noticing like
I
the
was
angel
seven,
numbers?
yes, 7 years old.
7. Okay. Like what happened, to
Well,
your 7-year-old self?
I I I was very sick
Okay.
and I had a very high fever. And um, what happened was my mom, she told me afterwards what happened, that I was talking while I was out of it.
Mm.
And she said I kept saying angels and different things like that. And then I was talking to my father, my real father, and I had never met him. So I was talking to him, and she said that what happened was I just kept talking and rambling for a long time. Now I remember what I was talking about as I got
Mm.
older. I started remembering. And after I had that situation, and it was like, it wasn't the flu, it was something, some kind of like chicken pox or something that just really made me be in a coma almost situation.
Mm.
And I started hearing voices after that
Oh,
telling
okay.
me to just simple commands like look down. And I'd look down and it would be some money. And not just a little money, like $200 or something. And remember now, I'm only like 7 at this point.
Mm.
So I look down and I see the money. I'm like, wow. And I look around. I don't see anybody around to ask if it's theirs. And then I would find wallets with money. No ID, nothing. And I would ask people, is this yours? Is it, no, baby, no, baby. And so it kept happening like that. And then after that, I started hearing things for people. Like I would be in front of somebody and God would say, she's getting ready to get a new house. And at first I was scared to say anything. And then I said, I just heard you were getting a new house. And she said, really, baby? I'm looking for one. This particular lady, I'll never forget. And I said, yes. And she said, what kind of house? And I closed my little eyes and I looked up. I don't know why, but I looked up with my eyes closed and I was
Mm-hmm.
able to visualize the house. And I told her what kind of house it was and how big it was and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she came back weeks later and told me, baby, I got the house. Here's a picture of it. And I
Oh,
said, that's it. And she said, I know, God told you.
that's great.
And it
That's
started happening like that to the point where people were coming in because I belonged to a spiritualist church at the time anyway.
mm-hmm.
So we were trained in learning about the angels, learning about the saints, and all of that. Sort of
Okay.
like if you will, it's sort of like Catholic, but it's more spiritual and not regimented.
Okay. Could you go like explain that a little bit, like a spiritualist church, what that is a little bit?
Yes, a spiritualist church deals with saints like the infant Prague. That's when Jesus was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Saint Jude, Saint Michael, Saint Raphael, those kind of saints. Saint Martin.
Okay.
And saints are those people who have done something special down here, and
Mm.
then they go off to heaven and they become angels.
Okay.
Our angels, our
Oh,
helpers. And so, interesting enough, the infant of Prague is Jesus when he was a baby.
mm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was able as a child to do different things. And so we believed in that and we believed in prophecy. That's what we called it, prophecy. And that's when God tells you something for somebody and you tell
Mm-hmm.
them and it comes to pass. Or
Mm-hmm.
a healing, laying on of hands,
Mm-hmm.
and speaking things into existence.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's the kind of church I grew up in. And when I started telling my pastor and my pastor's wife about the type of things I was seeing, they
Mm-hmm.
said, baby, you got to help everybody. You can't just keep that to yourself. And
Using
so
your
what I did, what they started doing, they gave me a little time where people would come up and I just close my eyes and tell them what I saw. And to me, as I look back now, it was like, you remember those big movie screens back in the day? They had a big screen and the movie would show on the screen. It
uh-huh.
was sort of like that.
Okay.
So I would close my eyes and I'd see this big screen and I would tell them what I would see. And people kept coming back and telling me, yeah, I got this. Yeah, this happened for me. Yeah, I got married. Yeah, this happened. This happened. This happened. And that's how I started.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. That's great. So so like was there ever a time when um you were fearful of using your gifts?
Yes.
Okay. And
Um,
how did you overcome that? How did your angels and spirit help move you from that spirit of fear?
actually, it was an adult that
Mm,
came to the line. Now, mind you, this line was wrapped around out the door.
okay.
From the front of the church all the way out the door, people were standing. And this one lady, she said to me, baby, I don't know who's got you up here doing this, but you shouldn't be doing this. You're too young to do this. Very discouraging words.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
was embarrassing in front of everybody and everything. And I just
Oh.
asked God, I said, God, I need you to take this away. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to see anything else from anybody.
Mhm.
Use somebody else. I don't want this. And he did. It went away. And I had to repent. And that's when you tell God you're sorry and you ask him to restore in you the faith that you had when he first gave you whatever it was that he gave you. And I had to repent and I had to be godly sorry because I allowed somebody else who was being mean and hateful to take over something that God gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time, but God was like, I guess he was like, are you sure? And he finally started allowing me to hear again. Now, after I had the stroke,
Mm-hmm.
which was 4 years ago, I started hearing even deeper again,
Mm.
deeper again. But I'll let you get to that point.
No, no, go ahead. No, you're great. So like the stroke was definitely something that is traumatic
Mm-hmm.
and uh took you further on your spiritual journey.
Yes,
Um
yes, it did.
you you can definitely, yeah, you can expand on that.
Okay. After I had the stroke and I was back home from the hospital, um, I didn't know how I was going to function.
Mhm.
I was more concerned about work and not being able to work and all this stuff, and I was praying
Worry.
all the time.
Okay.
I was worried, but I was praying all the time, and I was asking God. I was actually asking God to heal me. That's what I was doing. Nobody knows that, but I was asking God to heal me from this stroke because I'm like, okay, if I'm still able to talk and I'm still able to walk a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I have faith in you, then I know you can do all things and I know you can heal me. And just as clear as I'm sitting here with you, God said to me, you're going to do more. You're going to be able to do more than what you did before. And then I started waking up early in the morning at certain different times.
Mm.
And it started at 11:11. It started there.
11.
11:11. Yes,
Okay.
that was
And
the
like,
beginning.
okay. And would you have like certain, when you would wake up at, specific times, would you have certain thoughts on your mind, or did you like have a dream that you were having,
Nothing.
or
Nothing. I just
nothing?
woke up all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
and I was like looking around, trying to find something on television to watch. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't anything on there that interested me. So I turned it off and I just started looking at the moon. And then I started to hear
Mm-hmm.
things. I started to hear from God different things that He was going to bless me better than before and that I was going to be all right. That was the main message. I was going to be all right. I was going to be all right. And then after I woke up, it took me about 5 times because I was hard headed. It took me 5 times. And I looked it up.
Like
What
five
does
times waking up in the middle of the night?
I looked up what does 11:11 mean?
Okay, yeah, because you something told you to remember to look at the time.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it said an awakening. And I read what it said. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you woke me up, but for what? So then I started looking at YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and I looked up videos about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I ran into Abraham Hicks and people like that
Uh-huh.
was talking about it. And then I understood. I'm like, okay, this isn't a physical awakening. This is awakening my spirit. But for what? Once I asked the question for what, that's when the times I woke up started changing.
And you started noticing the different numbers. Ah, okay.
It was 333, 444, 555, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And 303,
Mm-hmm.
369 even after a while. So I started to look up those numbers. And then I found out one of my favorite numbers. I knew we're going to get into that. The
Right.
favorite time that I enjoyed waking up was 4 o'clock. 444.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
444. Because I was talking to you and I'm like, I think it's 333. Then no, it was 444, and I remember why. Because
Okay.
that is the number for Saint Michael, for Archangel Michael.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember you telling you really like Michael because he fights for
Yeah,
us.
and that's part of my nature to fight for the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Definitely.
that's me all the way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. Used to get in trouble a lot in church about that. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Do you want to expand on that?
Well,
Church and the
I don't like
underdogs of
people
the.
to, yeah, I don't like people to use religion
Mm-hmm.
as a whipping tool.
That part.
And yeah, and as the pulpit as a way to talk down to people,
Mm-hmm.
put people down, or to embarrass them.
Right.
If you know something about somebody, there's no need for you to get up in the pulpit and tell everybody for what.
Right. What are you trying to accomplish?
And
Yeah.
so I always had that take up for people type of thing inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that reminded me of Michael, how he takes up for the people who are unable to take up for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it kept going like that, the numbers. And then they changed completely.
Mm.
One, two, three, four
Right. Yep. And what's that one mean?
steps.
Yep.
There's
Just
steps to this.
steps. Taking steps.
One day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Eating a
that's
step.
what that meant to me. I was trying to rush my life and be this and be that and be this and hurry up and do this and hurry up and do that and get back to this. And God was telling me one day at a time,
Day at a time.
slow it down.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 1 hour, 1 minute.
Yes, yes. Because after the stroke, I was very shy and timid about speaking
Ah,
because I felt they were gonna notice it.
mhm.
The only, well, one of the main things left from me with the stroke is this finger.
Mm.
See, I can't straighten down.
Yeah, I
And
see.
it is a reminder to me of where I came from.
Mm.
Yep, that's what happened with that.
So every time you look at that finger, you're just like the stroke and coming through that, being a survivor. Yep. I love that. I love that. All right. So we were talking about Michael being one of your preferred angels. Do you have another angel that you
Raphael, I like Raphael a lot too.
yeah, for healing? Right, right. So back to I wanted to ask you what you were thinking of when uh when you were a little girl, around 7, and you were speaking like to the angels and whatnot. What were you talking about? Do you remember what they were saying to you and what you were saying to them? And
You mean when I was in the coma?
yes, yes.
Well, I remember back then that, first of all, my feet were being tickled.
Oh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I was just laughing and laughing and laughing. And then I remember being taken out. It was like I was being walked, and it was like a clouded area, and they were like we're your brothers and sisters. Because I'm an only child. So they were
Oh,
like, we're your brothers and sisters. We're your family.
ah,
We're your family.
okay.
We love you. That was the theme. The whole thing was, we love you. We're here for you. We'll
Mhm.
never leave you. You're
That's
not alone.
okay.
All of that.
Did did you feel like as an only child, did you feel kind of alone? Like when you were to yourself and
Yes. Yes. I did. I did. And it was strange because I was the only survivor of three siblings.
oh.
My brother passed away in childbirth. My sister passed away in childbirth.
Mm,
When I was born, technology was a little better, so they were able to do a here I go with words. They were able to do a surgery on me to help the flap on my heart.
mm,
There's a flap there. The
mm-hmm,
hinge was stuck. This
mm.
is why my brother and sister passed away, because the blood was rushing through too fast to fill up the heart. So they
Okay.
fixed mine and I was able to live.
Okay. That's great. So you definitely are meant to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. I
Yes.
know your mom and parents were happy. Um, I remember that was a similar story too. Are you familiar with Brian Weiss and his Many Lives, Many Masters book?
No, never heard of it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, he was a psychiatrist and he um he was, like more of a scientist type. And before technology, he just one of his patients said something, and it was about his son who had a heart issue, and that just it made me think of that. But
Wow.
yeah, that's a
Well, in 1960, they weren't doing that surgery too much.
mm-hmm.
So I was very blessed to be able to have it done.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you too, okay, about when it comes to our angels and angel numbers. Do you ever see numbers and have um do you do you think that particular thoughts go along with particular numbers, or when you see a certain number, what would you advise someone to do, like based upon what that number is and what that number can overall mean in a general sense? Like,
Okay. What I would do if I were to, like right now, is 727. I'm going to write that down because that's the
mm,
number for us.
okay.
What I would do is I would remember what it was I was thinking about when I saw that number.
Mm,
Remember how I was feeling when I saw that number
mhm,
at that time. At that particular time, how was I feeling?
mhm.
What was I thinking about? And then I would hit Google up as usual. Now you have to make the decision as to which answer or which person telling you what it means resonates with you.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm,
I can't tell you which one to listen to so it'll resonate with you. I have my own little mentors. Like I said, um, what was the lady and name I mentioned earlier? Abraham Hicks.
right. Mhm,
Then okay, Ralph Smart. Um,
mhm, mhm,
those kind of people I listen to. Those are my teachers, if you will.
mhm,
So when I would see a number, like I saw that number, I would look it up to see what it means. Then I go deeper and find a video on that number, looking to see which video resonated with me.
mhm.
See, You go by your feelings
Right.
because it's spiritual. It's not about the physical, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
So as you're looking through the videos, whichever video catches your eye and makes you feel a certain kind of way, like that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the person that you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get the understanding of what it means, and then you Google and see what it means, and then you dissect it to see what it means to you, period. And then you internalize it,
Mm-hmm.
meaning whatever is going on in your life, how does it resonate with the message that you got? Just like going to church. When you go to church, when you hear the message from the minister, you see how you can apply it to your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go Sunday after Sunday and you never have anything to apply, are you going to keep going? No. You're going to find somewhere else with someone who is more in line with you.
Right.
So that's why it's called spirituality, because it deals with your spirit. It has nothing to do with your mind, it has nothing to do with your body. It's your spirit.
Right. And we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Let's see what it
I like that.
is.
So, do you feel like I was gonna say how would you feel the unseen world um, shows itself in the seen world through numbers um, that could relate to in a general sense?
Okay. Well, that can be, you may see a number on a bus.
Mm-hmm.
You may see a number on an address. Okay. You may be reading a book and see it. See, the angels have many ways of contacting us and letting us know things. I've even had a feather just show up.
Oh, yeah, I love feathers.
hmm Had a feather just show up. Or just be, this is how deep it is with me, thinking of a question and in the midst of a lot of people and somebody just starts talking about what I'm thinking about.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else will answer them. There's the answer,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it can happen random. It's totally
Random.
random. Yeah. There
Yeah.
is no rhyme or no reason to spirituality. It just is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
just
I like that. There isn't.
no.
It's hard to explain.
It is. It is. But it is in like I said, my background, my family's from the South, of course. So there's such a thing as religion and there's such a thing as spirituality.
Mm. Would you go into like, what religion is versus what spirituality is, from your perspective?
Sure. Religion to me is more directorial. It's
Mm.
like you do it this way and
Mm.
that's it. If you want to be saved, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, and you got
Mhm.
to follow this, you got to follow that. But spirituality gives you freedom.
Mm.
So religion is more like a doctrine,
Mm.
which is more to the point.
Controlled.
Yes, more controlled.
Yeah.
And spirituality gives you freedom
Mm-hmm.
because you can find you can find your answer in a rock. I'm serious. You can find your answer in a rock. You
No,
pick up
no.
that rock and you look at that rock and it may have a word spelled out in there in the rock, in the lines of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Yeah.
the ways of God are not like the ways of man. So when you come over to the spiritual side, you're free.
Mm-hmm.
You're not under any constraints. What you can do, what you can't do, how much you got to pay, and all this other stuff. In spirituality, we love to give. So we don't have numbers that we have to give.
Mm-hmm.
We love to give anyway because we know the principle. If you give, sooner or later it's going to come back around to you anyway.
Right.
That's the energy of money that people don't understand. Money has an energy,
Mm-hmm.
and sooner or later it'll come right back to you.
Mm-hmm.
See? So, this is why I enjoy spirituality more so than religion because of the freedom of it.
Right. I like that. And also in the sense of giving too, like, I think it's even when it comes to the church and, giving to the church and whatnot,
Mhm.
um, I feel like, and just giving to the, like, if you don't go to church, I feel like, you still can give to people, in different ways. You can pay your tithes in a different way if you're, you know, not
Of you can go in your refrigerator and pack a bag and give it to somebody.
right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I don't have a problem with church because my mom was a pastor, so I don't have a problem with church, but I have a problem with controlling behavior.
What do you mean? Like
Controlling behavior. Because I believe we serve God in spirit and in truth.
mm-hmm.
And what may be true for you may not be true for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to serve him with your own mind, your own soul, your own heart,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then that's when he will open doors for you to learn more, to have more. What good father doesn't take care of his children? And God is a very good father.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves us. He takes care of us. And the angels, those are our brothers. Because we're angels. We're earth angels.
Mm-hmm. What would you say an earth angel is?
An earth angel is one who resides in the earth, first of all.
Here at Earth School.
Hmm. And helps people in the way in its ability. Like my abilities to help are different from your abilities to help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, so being an earth angel, that means you're down here to do the work that God sent you. God gives all earth angels something to do. And when you become more spiritually inclined,
Mm-hmm.
then you develop those skills.
Okay.
You develop those skills. And as you begin to develop those skills, then God will give you, if you will, He'll give you opportunities to use your skills.
Mm.
Like patience, doctor and patience. Doctor isn't a doctor without patience. So, as we're earth angels, we have assignments. We have assignments. And as we have assignments, we have to do those assignments, or else, I believe, not documented, I believe, if you do not follow and help with your assignment, if you don't do it completely and successfully, then you'll have to do it again
Mm.
in another form.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like,
Could you give an example of an assignment that like an earth angel may have to do?
okay, some earth angels are more geared towards helping children that are crippled.
Mm-hmm.
And that earth angel may be able to help that child to learn an exercise that will help them stretch out their legs, or teach them other ways how to do things that they don't need their legs to do. You see.
Mm-hmm.
So some earth angels are healers. Some earth angels are mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Some earth angels are leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of it, some earth angels are demons.
Mm-hmm.
See, there can be good earth angels, there can be bad earth angels.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they're good angels and they're bad angels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what constitutes a bad angel is only the things that that angel does.
Mm-hmm.
But is the angel truly bad? No. He's just an angry angel.
An angry angel.
An angry angel.
Yeah.
I can't do it my way, so I'm mad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you ran into people that's like that,
Mm-hmm.
especially at work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You never know like what somebody's, dealing with,
Right.
going through.
Agenda. What's the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
What's the agenda? So, as they say nowadays, you got to understand your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand why you're here. And the moment you open up that box as to why you're here, you become more spiritual as well, because God will send you answers in
Mm-hmm.
different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Angel
Oh,
numbers,
okay.
visions,
Mm.
random people coming up saying the answer.
Same things.
Yeah. Like you might be in a crowd of people at a store and somebody walks past you and goes, "Yeah," they may be on the phone. "Yeah, yeah, I said yeah." And they're talking on the phone, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you ask God for a question. You ask God a question.
Mm.
And you were waiting on the answer from God. He just gave it to you. It was yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. I like that. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so like, have you ever had you were saying like people through your spiritual journey and just becoming more aware, have you ever had someone come up to you and just say something or ask a question, and like they you could tell they were in need of some type of help, like, but like spiritually, like say someone came up to you and was like, I feel like my life is falling apart. What do you think I should
I've
do?
had people to say things like, "I'm so tired.
Mm,
I'm so tired." And I look at them physically, they don't look tired. So that tells me it's their spirit that's tired.
mm,
And then at that point, I'll listen to what God has to tell me. God may tell me to tell them the strength of the Lord will take care of you. God may tell me to tell them not long, meaning they won't have to deal with that much longer. Sometimes when people tell you, I'm so tired, it doesn't mean that they're physically tired. It means that they're tired of being down here.
Like on earth. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because you don't know how many lives that person has been through.
Mm,
They may
mm,
look young, but they may have been here so many times that they're like, I'm just tired of being here. And
mm,
they are. They want to go back home to,
mhm,
where God is.
mhm. Do you think that like understanding what your assignment is a part of getting back home? Do you think some earth angels like miss the assignment and they got to go back home anyway versus you really aren't going to leave until you figure out what your assignment is or what you were sent here to do or hmm.
What I believe is that even though you miss your assignment, you still got to continue living that life until it's over.
Mm,
Life doesn't end just because you missed the assignment. You still got to live that whole life and then get another life and live it again and see if you get it this time. So
mhm,
you may live to be 80 years old, you may live to be 110 years old, you may live to be 40 years old.
mhm,
It depends on the system that God has in place for you.
mhm. The contract, like would you
The need I'm hearing.
the need?
That's another thing that's with me. I hear.
Okay.
I hear. Um, I hear the need. Your need to be down here. What is your need to be here? What were you sent here to do?
Okay.
So that's why we meditate,
True.
to go within. Because when you meditate, you're not thinking about your hands or what clothes you have on or how your hair looks or anything. You're closing your eyes, you're listening to the music, you may have a candle lit, and you're going within.
Mhm.
You're concerned about your inner man.
Yeah.
And those are some of the most peaceful times for us to connect with our soul. Because, like I tell my angels on the channel, we are having a soul journey. We're not having a physical journey. Our physical bodies is just like a car.
Mhm.
Just like when you get in the car and turn it on, where your body is like the vehicle that carries the true you.
Mm.
True you may not be no taller than that, but you're on the inside. See? And you're using the body to do the work that you were sent here to do,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
not.
Mm. I like that. Do you
So
think that
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, so can you think of the ramifications of not doing what God told you to do?
That's what I was just about to that was gonna be my next question. I was just about to be like, so do you think that if you're not on assignment doing what you're supposed to be doing, that things start to happen with your body, like the vehicle that you are supposed to be using to do X, Y, and Z?
God gives us self will.
Mm,
He doesn't force us to serve Him. So if
True.
we choose not to serve him and we do something else, we're on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it like parents. They tell you to do something, you don't do it, and then you have ramifications because you didn't do it.
Right.
They don't stop the ramifications because that's your lesson. So whatever happens because you didn't do it the way you were told to do it, then guess what? You have to go through that
Mm-hmm.
lesson. It's a lesson. And every day we wake up, we're going through a lesson.
Time to learn something else.
Yeah, every day you learn something new. You learn something new every day. And for being disobedient, that may make your time here longer. And think about it. What if the body is ill? That means your illness is going to be longer. Isn't that like punishment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Hmm.
I think that's, yeah, I have
The
not.
angels are your brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They're family.
Right.
You just happen to reside here.
Yeah.
Okay. And the ones we know about, they have assignments to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
don't know about all of them.
Yeah. It's impossible.
Yeah, we do not know about all of them. But if you are a spiritual being and you have connected with your spirit, your soul,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't let your mind take over by overthinking,
Mm.
then your
That's easier
spirit
said
will
than done.
always tell you the right thing.
Right. Overthinking. That's
Yes.
definitely a factor for
Mhm.
a good amount of people. Not everybody, but you can definitely think too much or think
I
yourself.
still have to. I still have to tell myself, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. You
Just
putting too
breathe.
much into this.
Breathe.
It's not that big of a deal. You're doing too much, and you need to calm down and relax and
Mm-hmm.
see what's really going on here.
Right. Yeah. Just take a breath.
Yeah. Just say, for instance, if you've been praying for a house for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't gotten a house yet, and you're like at the point where you're almost angry with God, like, okay, I know you hear me, and don't tell me we don't talk to Him like that. God, I know you hear me, and you know what I want, and I've been trying to do everything right. For some reason or another, I'm not getting what I asked for.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Do I need to pay more tithes? What do I need to do? That doesn't move God
Mm-mm.
because He's like, I told you from the get go what you needed to do. You need to go in and be in a oneness with your soul because your soul is heaven and life, not your mind, not your body,
Mm-hmm.
not your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have a one-on-one chat with your soul and not talk to me.
Right.
So he will direct the conversation to your soul, meaning that's when you have to get in connection with your soul to find out what exactly did you come here to do so I can do it so I don't have to go through this anymore.
Mhm.
I want to live life more abundantly. And evidently, I'm not getting the message. So, what is it that I need to do? And when you start to meditate, when you start being outside, sun gazing, we didn't talk about that, did we? Outside.
We didn't.
That's when you're staring at the sun until you can close your eyes and see the sun. See the elements, all of the elements that God put down here that man did not,
Mm-hmm.
those are our keys
Right.
to the answers that we seek here. When you go to the water and you step out into the water at the beach
Mm-hmm.
and you leave everything there that's bothering you, all your problems,
I
you
love it.
leave them there. Either
Yeah.
you write it down and you tear up the paper and let it float on, or whatever you, or put it in the toilet and flush it. Because what? What are the elements?
You got your water, you got your fire, you got your earth, and you got your air.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Those are constants. Those are constants. They don't change. There's always going to be air. There's always going to be water. There's always going to be an earth or planet, right?
Mhm.
Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't going to try to contaminate those things to control.
Right. I always say they would sell air if they could box it up. You know they would. You know it.
Okay?
Uh,
Okay?
uh,
So air, the earth, the sun, the moon, those are constants.
okay.
See, way back in the day, they used to watch those elements and do things according to that. They would plant at a certain time of the year.
Mm.
They would glean, meaning they would get the beans that grew, get the tomatoes that grew, all that stuff at a certain time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Harvest. And they would celebrate those times because it's good to have harvest because that will feed you through the winter when they
Yeah.
isn't harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the simple things that we have gotten away from being grateful for. We're so used to all these nuances.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, what happens when the nuances no longer work?
Mm-hmm.
You got to go back out there and dig you some plants to put some seeds in the ground and hope for a harvest.
Mm-hmm.
See, to God, there's nothing new under the sun. They just find other ways to do it. They meaning people,
Mm-hmm.
because we want it easier. But God still gives his people the ability to contact his messengers,
Mm-hmm.
angels. They are his messengers, his warriors, angels.
Yeah.
Somebody's bothering you, somebody's attacking you for no reason. God asks you to have your angels fight against those that fight against me.
Mm-hmm.
Bless those that bless me and curse those who curse me.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to fight.
Yeah.
So this is why the angels come, to give us messages that may or may not have anything to do with our life. It may have something to do with what he wants you to do differently.
Mm. Mm.
See, and that's what I do.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
speaking with me. You know, we've been talking this whole time and I have not recorded anything.
I recorded it all. I'll send to you.
I am. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you too. And then you can edit it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for your time and your kindness and your willingness to even speak with me, and yeah, your wisdom, all that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Anytime.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
you have a good evening,
You
and
too. All right.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.